Because he's not a God that just piles on. So it's just the next hurdle. But the problem is when we get over a hurdle, we want to sit down and rejoice over it. And he says, there's something else I want to deal with now. There's other things I haven't even told you about. You know how he has sheep that we know not of? We have heart issues we know not of. But he's aware of all of them, but he's faithful to us. And he's faithful to our hearts. And so he's not saying, you got so much wrong. He's saying, let's deal with this today. And when we get through this, we'll deal with what's next. But he's faithful to us. But also, correction as the people of God must be done in the character of God. See, correction is not a gift of the Spirit. Go check. Right? Go to Romans 12, go to 1 Corinthians 12. Correction and rebuke are not gifts of the Spirit. So there are not some of you that happen to have the gift of correction, although some of us feel that way. Correction is something that belongs to all of us because it's filled with the fruit of the Spirit. See, correction has to be done in the character of God. So that means correction has to be filled with love and kindness, patience and gentleness. So that means correction belongs to all of us, but we grow up into correction. We don't just grab hold of correction. Correction can be sharp, but it should never be harsh. It can even be severe, but it can't ever be selfish. Think of it this way. Jesus said in John 13, he said, serve one another even as I have served you. Love one another even as I have loved you. I would challenge us tonight, correct one another even as God has corrected us. Make sure that if we're going to call each other into correction, that we do it in the character of the one who is called. Luke wrote that after Jesus rebuked the disciples, that he showed them his hands and his feet. And while they still didn't believe it because of joy and amazement, sometimes you can be so excited you can't believe it. Sometimes you're so excited over what God said and what God does that you are happy about it, but it hasn't found a place in your heart, right? Didn't we even learn that in the parable of the soils? That you get excited and it starts to grow, but then everything else comes and chokes it out because sometimes excitement gets in the way. I know, sorry to beat the dead horse, but it is so true scripturally. But what's interesting is while they still don't believe it because of joy and amazement, he asked them, do you have anything here to eat? They gave him a piece of broiled fish, and he took it and ate it in their presence. Once again, the resurrected Jesus was found sitting at a table with his friends. Just like on the road to Emmaus, he didn't correct them and leave. He corrected them, he rebuked them, and then he sat down with them. There's such beauty in that. He doesn't cast us out for being wrong. He doesn't remove himself from us while we get our acts together. He doesn't take breaks from loving us or sitting with us. He corrects because he loves. What a better picture of this can we have than sitting down at our table? Jesus corrects them, he rebukes them, and then he says, what's for dinner? Right? Because we tend to get corrected and then we think the relationship is impaired. We get corrected and then we wonder if we're ever going to see each other again. We get corrected and we start to think that now something's broken. And so Jesus says, what's wrong with you? Why don't you believe? Let's eat. Let's eat. Let's sit down together. See, his relationship with us is strong enough to endure and overcome our brokenness and our stubbornness. And our relationship with him must be strong enough to receive his rebuke and accept his correction. But also our relationships with each other must be strong enough to endure both. Because that's what fellowship is. That's what unity is. That's what loving each other as Jesus has loved us look like. That's where questions are welcomed and doubts are discovered and truth gets the opportunity to set us free.